Hey there, I'm Ashlea Bullington, and you're watching the fifth quarter, our Chevrolet's Inside High School Sports Friday night wrap-up, where we bring you scores from around the greater Houston area and talk about some of the things you'll be seeing tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. on KHOU 11. Let's get started. We have Dickinson versus Katy Taylor to start it off. Dickinson scored 42 points in the first half to beat Katy Taylor 49-6. Dickinson is now 3-1 on the season, and Katy Taylor 2-2 as they get their first win of district play. Up next, College Park versus the Woodlands to open their district. The Woodlands had their one loss at the beginning of the season, and they've come back to play really well. They win tonight versus College Park 7-34. Up next, we have Cy Ridge versus Stafford. Cy Ridge was up in this game. They were up in this game, but Stafford, the Spartans, just buckled down to score 20 points in the fourth quarter. It's a really good comeback win for the Spartans as they beat Cy Ridge 17-27. Up next, we have Cy Spring versus Cy Lakes. Cy Springs, it's a rebuilding year for them. The coaches will tell you that. They're building up the program once again. They're 0-4. Right, they were 0-3 coming into this game. Now they are 0-4 as they start district. Cy Lakes had 20 unanswered points at one point in time in this game. Cy Lakes wins 27-7 versus Cy Springs. Cy Lakes is now 3-1 on the season. Another big game was Cy Creek versus Jersey Village. Cy Creek came to play tonight. We had a big recruiting trail that aired on Friday for Josh White, the inside linebacker who will be going to LSU, and him and his defense shut down Jersey Village tonight. Jersey Village's homecoming wasn't a win, but a great night for them. Cy Creek wins this one 53-9. Dobie versus Summer Creek. A big last-second interception to solidify the win for Dobie. The Longhorns up 29-23 with 56 seconds left. Have Gamby Boyd intercept for a pick six. Great showing from them as they win 36-23 over Summer Creek tonight. And our biggest game of the night, Manville versus Marshall. A huge game last year. This is the win that put the Marshall Buffs on the map. They put them in the upper echelons of all Houston high school football. And we were in line for another big treat tonight as they took the field. Manville was up in the fourth quarter 38-34 with 56 seconds, and you never want to sleep on the Marshall Buffs. They can score in 5 seconds. They can score on a play. You just have to let them have the opportunity. And they made it a good one. Triple overtime last year, coming down to the wire this year. Devon A-Chain scoring 7 touchdowns this season, and him almost scoring every single touchdown, or 7 touchdowns last season, scoring several touchdowns tonight. You never know what can happen with that A-Chain versus with Hornsby combination, but Manville up 38-34 in the fourth quarter, 54 seconds left on the clock. Marshall gets a 27-yard catch to get on the Manville 37. Manville sacks the quarterback, Malik Hornsby, to put them back on the 47-yard line, and Marshall just can't get over the hump there. They fall for their first game of the season tonight. Manville wins that one 38-34. A big week in week 4 as district play gets off, and we've got a team that goes into district play next week. In this next segment, the Lamar Consolidated head coach Rick LaFavors comes on with me. We'll be right back.
Don't forget to catch our extended coverage of the high school football season each week on The Warm-Up, presented by your local Houston area Geico agents. We will get you ready for all the action this Thursday on all our social media outlets.
Hey there, I'm Ashlea Bullington, and I am currently on the phone with head coach of Lamar Consolidated, Rick LaFavors. Rick, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Ashlea. I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much for coming on. We're really excited. Lamar Consolidated, you guys have started this season 3-0. So to kind of just talk about your team and how the season started for you guys, and just the guys that you have behind you right now, or the guys you're coaching right now.
Well, actually, we had 16 returning starters, 8 on offense, 8 on defense coming back this year, and just really excited about the work that they put in. Really, since the end of last season, made the playoffs for the first time in almost a decade, and just seeing the growth and the leadership on this team, allowed us to start off 3-0. But we started off 3-0 last year as well, so still got lots of things to do and clean up. This is our open week. We start district next week against Lake Creek, and which will be a good challenge for us. And we just got to make sure we clean some things up and keep executing.
You guys had a big win last week against Rosenberg-Terry. Kind of what did you see from your team in that game that kind of gave you not hope, but the to know where you guys are in this season?
Well, it was a rivalry game, and the games against Terry, these kids have grown up playing against each other and known each other. So a lot of times you can throw the records out. It's very competitive. It's sold out, 12,000 people. And so there's a lot of energy and electricity in the environment, or in the stands and on the field. And so I was really proud about, I challenged our kids not letting the emotions of the game get to them. Sometimes in games like that, you worry about just mistakes and things because you're letting your emotions play and not just doing your job. And so I was proud of our team and how we finished and stayed on task.
Another thing that I was looking through, Lamar Consolidated over the years, and you guys your team's gradually gotten better and better and better. Going from an 0-10 season to winning a few games to making the playoffs last year, and now you've got this year. How have you kind of set the new? No, I don't want to say new, but how have you set the tone, and what is the message that you're giving to these guys as you're coaching them?
Well, actually, we came in here 5 years ago as a staff, and the program was down, and I think they were 0-10 in 2014. Mm-hmm. We came in and just really tried to establish a culture of not being able to face adversity, not quitting and giving up, and just a kind of a toughness. And so we adopted the moniker TPW, that stands for Tough People Win, and then just teach our kids how to respond to both good and bad things on and off the field. And we kind of stuck to the process and didn't try to do a short fix and cut corners or anything, and just built this thing brick by brick. And we went through some tough years, but the kids, we had a lot of victories off the field. We reduced our failure rate to 0 in the classroom on the varsity level, and just things like that, and less behavior problems and getting in trouble in class, and just kind of changing that part, and has slowly led to the victories on the field. We knew that would come. I just wanted to make sure that our coaching staff poured into these kids and loved on these kids, but also held them accountable and challenged them. That's what we've been able to do for 5 years, and it's finally starting to come together. And don't get me wrong, we have some very good athletes, and very good couple classes have come through that are very talented as well. But we feel like the character and the culture has definitely improved and helped change things as well.
And I mean, one of the biggest things that people don't really see and realize is the work that a coaching staff has to put in to build a program up. Like when they first come in, it's not as easy to just come in and things start going and winning. It's setting a culture and creating an atmosphere that really is prosperous for not only the coaching staff but the kids as well.
Correct. Yes. It is a challenge, and it's hard to. I think some of the most difficult days of coaching is when you are 0-10 and you're trying to keep your kids fighting, and the scoreboard is not in your favor. And but one thing I knew we were doing it the right way is having opponents, head coaches, and staffs and things talk to us and after the game and just through friends and stuff, and explain it. You guys are playing hard. The scores became closer, and so we knew we were gaining ground. It just was a matter of time. I just wanted to make sure that myself and my staff, we're doing it the right way, and that we have a standard, and that we weren't going to lower those standards just to get some quick results. And fortunately, it's paid off and here in year 4 and 5, and so we just got to continue to build and continue to build this program.
So district play is about to start. You guys have the bye week or the off week this week, but you start district play next week. What do you see from the district that you guys are in District 10 5A? And what are some of the challenges that you see coming up as you're moving into the big phase of this district?
Yes, yeah. Well, we start off with Lake Creek, and they have an excellent quarterback. Have the leading receiver in the district from last year. It's a new school. This is only their second varsity season, so they got 22 starters returning, 11 on defense, 11 on offense. So another year older, another year more mature in the system and knowing what they want to do. But they have excellent offense that has been able to score some points. So it's a short week as well. We play them on Thursday, so you always want to win your district opener. It's on the road, so we go to their place, so that'll be a challenge for us as well. And we just got to make sure that we are doing our job and executing and taking care of the football. And then we got Rudder. We got 2 road games started. We go to Brian Rudder next, who has a new staff as well. And those guys have lost a couple of close ones and also won. And so the new staff there has really, invigorated the program. And so we'll have our work cut out. And then we go back-to-back with the number 2 team in the state and the number 5 team in the state with A&M Consolidated in Huntsville. So, and then on to the rest of the opponents. So it's we're in one, I would argue one of the tougher districts in the state. With A&M Consol, Huntsville, and Montgomery, and Pato. Katie Pato is a new school that is definitely making some noise right now. They're 3-0 as well, so we'll probably be a 6A team next year with their growth. So each week we know we have to come out and execute, or you can't just assume you're going to win anything.
Yeah, well, we're rooting for you guys here at Inside High School Sports. I just wanted to say thank you so much for your time tonight, and we'll be looking forward to watching you guys next week.
I appreciate it, Ashlea. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be right back with the 5th quarter.
Watch Inside High School Sports to catch this week's Chevy Spotlight, brought to you by your Houston area Chevy dealers. Visit your nearest Chevy dealer to test drive their award-winning products.
With Inside High School Sports insider Ryan Harris. Ryan, a big week of high school football, one that we didn't know was going to, if it was going to happen or not. But a big week of week 4. What did you see as these teams are starting district play?
Yeah, well, it was an interesting week because obviously all the Thursday games got canceled because of Imelda and flooding. So that wasn't good. But we had some teams play tonight. It's also kind of that awkward 4th week where a lot of teams had their bye week. But we had the rematch from last year's incredible matchup of Manville and Marshall. Manville won that game this year after losing to Marshall at the last second. Last year they won 38-34. The Manville defense came up with a big stop on Malik Hornsby late in the game as Marshall was driving to potentially take the lead in the last minute. So that was something that was encouraging for them, encouraging to see out of them. And both schools should be just fine moving forward and going into the playoffs. And Marshall could even get back to state, but this was a good win for Manville.
What does that say about Manville, to be able to beat one of the best teams in the state? I mean, Marshall's only given up, the average of 7 points a game up to now. So, what does that mean for Manville as they, kind of have a chip on their shoulder from that loss last year?
Yeah, it says a lot about a team that can go out. You don't really see teams hitting their full stride till about week 7, getting into the full swing of things and putting together complete games. So to see Manville do it against such a good opponent so early in the year is really encouraging. Of course, they had the state championship run where they lost to Highland Park 2 years ago. And you think, is that a team that could get back to that point? And to see them beat a team like Marshall so early in the year that has and shut down an offense with Malik Hornsby and Devon A-Chain and to hold them to only 34 points is certainly encouraging for them.
And what are some districts that you're looking forward to watching down in the Houston area as district play started this week and for some teams next week?
There's just, more than anything, I'm looking at North Shore's district because, again, I know they had the early loss to Katy, but they are the team to beat. It's a deep district. They've got a lot of talent in that district, so that's one to keep an eye on moving forward.
And are there any teams other than in that district that you've really seen that you've been impressed from so far this season?
Well, I saw tonight. Katie Tompkins had a big win. Of course, their quarterback, Jalen Milroe, is going to be the guy that's going to have to take them there in the playoffs. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they do week to week. I've kind of been keeping an eye on them. So they're probably the team that I'm most excited to just see how the rest of their season plays out.
Yeah, they won tonight. They scored 70 points tonight. That's a hard thing to do for any team in any game, no matter what no matter who you're playing. Final thoughts from week. What are your final thoughts from week 4 of Houston high school football?
I'm really excited to get into district play and again just to kind of get later into the season so we can learn a lot more about some of these teams that either maybe haven't played competition. We saw like Katy early from week 1. I was like, all right, this team's the real deal. They played one of the best teams, not just in the state, but in the nation. So we know a lot about Katy, and we know a lot about some of those other teams like North Shore. But you think back to last year, we didn't know how good a team like Shadow Creek was going to be, who was playing their first varsity season, ended up going 15-1 until later in the year where you're like, man, you start looking down every week, they keep winning games. So I'm really just excited to see what teams are going to surprise us this year.
Awesome, Ryan. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on the 5th quarter, and thank you guys for watching the 5th quarter. We'll have highlights from games as well as our Chevrolet's Inside Story and so much more. Our Chevy Spotlight, and so much more tomorrow on KHU 11 at 8:30 a.m. I'm Ashlea Bullington, and thank you for watching.